Snailpiss. I'm trying not to yell. I'm sitting here with Noah. And what's your band's name, Noah?
So the band I'm currently in is called Overthinking, and we're like kind of just anything under the sun punk somewhat band, but we in this specific project we definitely do a wide range of sounds, anywhere from just whatever we're feeling when we start practicing. So we have anywhere from...
Let me tell you, everything he sent me, I like. But maybe early Sonic Youth, dope.
I think we have everywhere from one song's a country song to another being kind of a Spanish style song.
Nice. When you say Spanish, is Spanish punk?
It's more like, it's actually that one that's like, think of in the vocals alone, it's definitely like in the kind of like ska reggaeton type way, like
dope.
Type of thing, but
dope.
then in the actual like instrumentation of the drums, bass, and guitar though, definitely like Spanish style and the beat of it. I don't know if it's like upbeat or what specifically about the
What's
beat,
the name of that tune?
Actually, we literally currently just call it the Salsa Jam, and also we're trying to redo the lyrics on it because every time we play it live, unfortunate enough that our co-vocalist who plays guitar in the band, he actually is good enough to be able to just kind of...
What's his name?
In a sense, his name's Mark.
Mark.
And
well, back up, as we're going to keep going. I want to introduce the band. I want to get to know Overthinking.
Yeah.
That's a dope name. First, though, what is punk? Because my audience may not know.
So, punk rock, if not just punk in general, is, in my opinion, and I think a lot who I've met, their opinions as well, punk is, at its core, obviously a mid to late 70s kind of movement of just anti-conformity, anti-to-the-norm, ideology. Some would say it as a sound. In my opinion, it's not even a sound, first and foremost. It's an ideology of not going... Basically, it's the ideology of going against the grain, and I think when it comes down to it...
Like
almost
skateboarders.
Yeah. Like anything... I think
graffiti writers.
Really, like when it comes down to it, too, because...
Defiance.
Yeah.
But musically, can you give me a little history of Arizona punk?
I'd say, from what I know, it's definitely not going to brush everything, only because I know the farther back I go in Arizona punk, the less I know in the mainstream of punk rock, at least with underground. But I'd say, like, as far back as I know from either my family or what I've heard about, like, AZ punk is definitely, when it came out here from California as well as other places, it was... probably the first and foremost band I would think of would be JFA or Jodie Foster's Army. But then as it goes on, though, there's plenty of bands all over. And I know more the, I guess, early 2010s to now punk scene, especially in the late 2010s, starting to be a part of it once I turned old enough to drive. And I'd say here as well as everywhere, it's really just a big, close-knit family and genre kind of scene, because I mean any genre has a scene, but with that one specifically, it's a little different everywhere you go, but all the same ideology and the same going against the grain defiance feel of everything.
When did you start getting abreast of punk music in general?
I'd say that one is almost as early as music in general as a whole for me, just because my dad was a big I mean he was a big music guy in general, but let alone he was the type of parent to, like, whether I was, like, about to be born and it was in the womb, him singing to my mom's stomach, literally, or all the way up to, like, I could start to hear, I could start to listen to songs I like. It first and foremost started with, like, obviously the Ramones, Sex Pistols, stuff like that, but it moved on to everything he liked.
Surely y'all know the Ramones and Sex Pistols. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you don't, do your research. It's worth listening to. Good groups.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But it goes, like, I think... pretty far back with me, almost as early as just music in general. Like, punk was one of the main ones that first got me into music.
So if this is punk, where would grunge music be? My definition would be like Nirvana, Sonic Youth, the groups I talk about. 90s grunge. Compared to, and I know that's just a label, but compared to your traditional punk, is it far off, or is there some kind of branch with the two?
I'd say as, like... how do I put it? as I might biff this too because I always forget which one came first until either someone corrects me or I start talking about it. But as the blues led to jazz, it's the same that punk led to grunge, led to many genres, because punk is one of the biggest subgenre, let alone underground genres, to influence everything almost as widely as the blues did. And in a sense, like,
so it's been around for a minute.
Yeah, because like I would say you can almost take, or almost everyone in any band that considers themselves grunge either started or at one point liked punk and was influenced by it to the point of then wanting to start their own like feeling or genre or sound or even emotion through music. And I'd say, or if you go to direct history of it, it is actually like how do I put it? Like I guess like New Order and Joy Division is, you know, post punk or the very direct next step after punk. The same as grunge, just a decade later, because everyone in the grunge scene was definitely
influenced by the Ramones.
And like punk in general. Yeah,
and so many other groups. So how big is your band? How many members?
So we currently have 3, and we're hoping to get a 4th member.
Is that the one you were telling me about?
Yeah.
So who are they right now?
So currently the members in the band are me, Noah Williams on bass and co-vocals, my good longtime friend Mark Baca on guitar and co-vocals, and then our drummer Eileen, who is on drums and some songs vocally, but as we make more...
There's no lead vocalist?
Yeah, so we pretty much go by the route of... I don't know what a good even band example of this would be, but let alone artist or group. But basically, if you want to do something vocally in the band and or, you know, write your own music and present to the band, start playing it, stuff like that, we're open to anything. So therefore, thus far, it's been about half and half on lead vocals between me and the guitarist, but it's getting to the point now where we have some new songs in the works and demos of that are, you know, either me and the drummer singing or the drummer and Mark or our guitarist singing. So
I like the fact that these co-entities would inspire creativity, because it's kind of like connected into graffiti. You know, not everyone is the greatest, but at the same time, if someone's good at filling in, that inspires you to fill in better. You don't want streaks and bleeding and stuff, so you want it to be read as clear as possible. Which is competition, friendly competition, inspires creativity. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
I like it. That's different though. So collectively, you guys were okay with that?
Yeah, because like I'd say,
no ego then.
That's the thing. It's I'm the in terms of the quantity lowest on this, but out of everyone in the band thus far has been through enough bands and enough like basically bullshit at this point that we decided first and foremost in this band upon starting to play right before our first show that we are going to try and put in to the best of our power, put everything aside that normally would go into, you know, the ego or simply just jealousy or even just any of the normal artist group band bullshit that everyone goes through, and just focus on the music for sake of the music to get it out there and to get people hearing it quicker.
How do people hear it? What's some ways? I like talking to Noah because he's upstart, and this is inspiring to your peers and even younger, you know. And so, as far as where you guys stand, what's your game plan? Your short-term game plan? I don't need to know, hey, we're gonna be signed to blah blah blah. You know, pretty sure that's long-term, but short-term.
I'd say short-term. We just finished playing our first 5 or 6 months worth of shows off of the material we have so far, which is about like 35 minutes of music if we push it, but like 40 minutes if we also, because
what's normal, 45?
Well, the thing, we usually only get a decent like 30 to play because so far because
the breakdown was part of the whole thing too. Right?
Yeah, and also like we just since we're up and coming, you know, we came from other bands that had a bigger following and could get headlining shows. We're more welcome to, you know, opening or going towards the middle, if not, you know, the front end of the show than the actual like headlining part. So, you know, we'll take something
get it heated up.
Yeah, we'll take it as little as 25 minutes, but if we're really just going song. But if we're, you know, giving a little time in between, and that new guitarist, sometimes he comes up and we have a good 2 or 3 songs he knows how to play that we actually can't play without him and our current guitarist playing them at the same time. So we have about, I think, in terms of what we can play as a trio, 10 songs, and in terms of what we can play as a, I forget why, not quintet, the one before, 4 people.
I know what it is.
Yeah.
The words that evade me too. That is the difficult one. We gotta get back on there. I'll put it on there.
I think in total we have about like 13, 14 songs that we could fully play at a show.
So it would be helpful if that 4th person did join.
Yeah. Plus, like, then we can get more intricate with how we either set up what we already have done, knowing we can do it as a trio, plus having more with another guitarist. But then on top of that, the writing and abilities we will have moving forward with 2 guitarists, and also with that guitarist, he specifically doesn't want to do vocals. So then, as a result, he'll be able to focus on both the lead guitar as well as whatever rhythms we need when the co-vocalist guitarist doesn't either want to play or simply needs to focus mainly on his vocal for that section or part.
Nice. Do you guys stay within the Phoenix area, or do you try to get out to like Flagstaff, Tucson, Prescott?
I'm actually glad you asked that, because if this would have been like a month or 2 ago, we would have said probably just main Phoenix Valley area, but as of January we started branching out more, and I think we played our first Flagstaff show halfway through the month, which was pretty good because it was across the street from NAU. That was fun. And then we actually, I think, oh no, that one didn't work. Okay, I was gonna say we also played, we were gonna play in Arlington out in the outskirts of the Phoenix Valley, but then that right before we went on got shut down by the cops. But because that was
my kind of show. What?
But yeah, and then we actually have plans for, so I was going to mention also, February we're actually not playing shows at all to just record our album as a whole, but then right after...
How many songs on an album you shoot for?
At the least 10, but if not, we actually have a good 2 or 3 that we could put into it too, and then on top of that we have a lot we want to do with making the full concept of it, such as like interludes and I guess parts in between each song that aren't necessarily a full song, but it's simply just adding to the flavor of it as a whole, rather than just putting, this is here 10 to 12 songs and that's it.
Yeah. Period. Song 1, song 2. That's got to be boring. I've seen groups really color it up, but that's not typical. You know what I mean? I think you do know that the average listener, their attention span is really short. But
one thing I was going to say too, once we're done recording in February when we don't have any shows, we also have plans to, in about the middle of March, I think we're going with another local band who they themselves actually have one of those like short buses that you would see at high school or in school. And they have it with all their equipment, and then on top of that, we're getting a trailer for my SUV, and we're going to go out with them, pulling all the equipment to San Bernardino to play in California.
Nice. And Cali's got to be friendly. You excited about that?
Honestly, yeah, and especially because I've made plans for years to eventually play there, but they always either fell through or simply we would have to focus so much in other bands that I've been in on keeping our relevance within the valley where we live. So we never got around to it, but I'm excited that barely first year into this band we're already getting out of state shows.
I'm glad. I remember a friend of mine who's a musician came in town, and he was like, "How come you don't play Cali?" And I said, "I don't know." So he invited me to a show. However, he got taken off of it. So it was kind of me negotiating with a promoter that I don't even know. Long story short, I had another musician come with me, and it was a dud. We made the most of it. The show wasn't really happening. I mean, we still did it, but like I said, it was a dud. So we went around, and then finally we said, well, why don't we stay the night? Staying the night, there was this local fest going on. So we explained to them what went on with us, and they were like, how about we give you 10 minutes on our shit. Okay? So we thankfully met other musicians and had their fans. And at that time, we were hard copying it. I don't have a copy because I wanted to be clear for you. But I have CDs still, I come from that era. Nowadays, it's a lot easier. So let's say your San Bernardino show, would you promote it through social media? Is that a good way to get people hip to what's going on with you guys, and promote maybe the band that's bringing you on their short bus, which I think is cool, by the way?
Yeah, I'd say the way we've been doing it lately is a mix of a few things, but definitely at the very least, both the band and our band social medias, as well as our individual social medias, we try to post as much as possible about upcoming shows.
That's the way to do it now.
Yeah, but then on top of that, though, it's been nice knowing there is there's a good friend of ours, or mine as well as our band, named Clay from both, I think he's the guitarist and lead singer of one punk band called Simple Malfunction, and then the drummer of another punk band called Fair Lady. Him, as well as his new bassist named Mina, who is now in Simple Malfunction. They started actually recently
when I go back and listen to this, I'm going to be looking online for these groups. So this is cool, you plugging them. Yeah.
But they started a few months ago when Clay, the person from the two bands, when his last, quote unquote, like it's not full blown, like they're putting out physicals or anything, but his last label that he tried to start up fell through. He then started a new one with this girl Mina, and as well as joined forces in a band. And basically, they promote a lot on social media, but like they are like the type that they're basically, other than actually like paying bands to put out the music and everything, they help in every way they can with bands in either recording or simply just promoting of shows and stuff like that. But then on top of that, it's been nice because they will actually go out of their way to make sure the shows go well. Because I think, other than that Arlington one that got shut down, which they also were running that one,
right? And
that was just freak chance because it was some crazy.
No, I've been involved in stuff like that. The police have shut it down.
Yeah, and what's worse, that was some crazy lady. Just like she actually caused more noise than the show because she was mad that we were playing, and so she got the cops to notice our show, even though she was the nuisance and problem. But
probably some permit problem.
Yeah, and what's worse too, it was in someone's actual legally they could do it. It was just that the permit aspect because they had vendors and stuff.
Well, in Texas,
for food.
This is Texas, right?
No. That's the thing. You would think this is Arlington on the other side of the 303 down on
I would have never even known that there's a neighborhood over there.
Yeah, it's like 200th Avenue. It's crazy out there.
Which used to be Womack's Road. Where
it's near there.
We used to play. I don't know what the genre of. They were rock groups, but us being hip hop, they were rock. We just got along. So it was like we would bring our people, they would bring their people, and it's the medium that helped. It was like unscripted Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we got too far away from that. We need to get back into that. Yeah. I'm just saying. But I'm learning from you that you guys did shows out there, and so that neighborhood is called Arlington.
Yeah.
Still, they had their own city ordinances and their way of doing things. Like Buckeye might be different than Tempe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I like that guy with his own record company and stuff. And the fact that he pushes other bands. Yeah. To me, isn't that the punk spirit anyway?
Honestly, yeah. We've had many, I think both everyone in my band as well as the people I just talked about, that we've known many a person where, you get either a little bit ahead of others or you get a little bit, more, whether it's recognition, well-known, fame, anything like that. And the second that happens and they see it happening for themselves, they just leave everyone behind. And we're still trying to be about the whole, bring everyone up with you as much as you can. As
you can.
Yeah, almost in the sense of back in the 90s when Nirvana was they talked about Meat Puppets from Arizona. They talked about.
Did you watch the documentary Hype?
Actually, no, I haven't.
Watch it. Okay. They were like kids. It was Soundgarden, Nirvana, Mother Love Bone.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Weird groups. And some doper groups, I'm just missing them. Wow. One of them is Gas Huffer. They say, I'll be the cat and you be the mouse. But they all got together, used to play this warehouse, and no one would come. So they were like, we didn't care. If you added us all up, it was 25 people, that kind of thing. So they thought it was funny. But eventually, people were like, what is this? Then they started coming. You gotta watch the rest. But hype, trust me, it's early Nirvana, early Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam's there. But I think he's part of Mother Love Bone or something like that. Why did it do that? Oh. Anyway, HYPE, because it reminds me a lot of what you're saying. In that spirit, I think the togetherness kind of helps. You're right. Get other ones a lifeboat sometimes. Hey, I made it to this festival, and this is how you do that. You might want to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You did your diligence. Sometimes fame benefits those who hustle the hardest. It kind of comes that way. And sometimes it's just luck. Like, oh shit, I said this one thing and it went viral or some shit. But all right, real quick, you and I met because we were talking about some kind of hip hop subject. What were we talking about then? Remember that?
I remember it was I think just to set the scene, I went up to a restaurant while doing Uber Eats.
Yeah.
There was a door that was locked. I saw the line going out to probably like the street, and you got out of your car, and I think you said something along the lines of like, "Oh, is it locked?" And I said, "Yeah." And so instead of taking those orders and waiting hour or two for the shitty tip that would have taken 20 minutes if they had the lobby
exactly, which ain't worth the time.
Right? Yeah. So we canceled those orders. We're waiting for another order, and we started talking music. And one of the first things that came up that I think we bonded on was definitely the fact that I don't know, like punk rock as well as I guess that ideology, it can really be in any genre, and that I think the main thing we touched on that you mentioned, not a lot, some but not a lot of people in my generation have a knowledge of, is the fact that in all honesty, hip hop as well as anything in the subgenres of rap as a whole really does still embody the spirit of punk rock as much as punk did back in the late 70s, early 80s, and that it's weird to view it because some people are like, well, it sounds nothing alike, even though some days they're fusing.
I disagree. They're looking at it sonically, and I understand that. Yeah. But you gotta look at it metaphorically.
Yeah.
That's the connection. You mentioned country. That's its own entity. But is it? You know what I mean? Not so much. I think there's a lot of... I knew in community college, this is older than you, so this was a long time ago, but I knew this country musician who was dope as fuck. And we never really crossed paths. He had done shows, I did shows, and we had our own bubble. But just listening to his spirit, I told him one day we gotta mesh it, somehow. Because I think it's plausible. I got friends in Globe and great guys, rednecks, but don't matter. It's just a lifestyle that we both benefit from. I'm saying them and the outdoor perspective, and me with the city boy perspective, and my straight shootingness, I guess, that is appreciated by them. But it's all about what you said in the beginning, going against what they want you to be. Whoever they are. I think they are these swaying powers, let's just call them. And to me, punk reminds me of a rebelliousness against that, but one with a purpose. And if it could be this little kid, because I come from working with traumatic teenagers and shit, if this little kid doesn't want to hang himself because the music said, no, you matter and this is why, then so be it. That's a good thing, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. I'd say even to a degree, not
to be so morbid.
Oh no, that's all.
But it's just maybe somebody's reality. Is all I'm saying.
I honestly I think anything that can get you from a worse point to a better point really should be considered beneficial, and at least maybe one person, i.e., they don't understand it. It should still be acknowledged, and in the liberal-minded thinking, an openness to the fact that if it helps someone through something, it's not inherently bad. It might just be not your preference. The person that doesn't like it.
This is Noah, the band Overthinking. There's 3 members. We're going on a 4th. I'm excited about what you're doing, and I want to kind of just tag me with as your journey progresses, man. And I like to cover that. as well as you're my first punk musician. I wanted you to be the first and not. Well, there's gonna be another band I'm talking to, but they're a little more established. But I'm glad you were the first. You really helped me understand a lot of shit, and I hope this relationship, as well as eventually, I'd like to meet the band, you know, and we could do some kind of maybe on-site thing. I'm trying to progress with this. It's just about devoting time and energy. But that was Noah. Anything you want to give him before we head out, man?
I'd say, I guess, just go out to shows, support your local bands, support more than just simply the mainstream, you know, venues you're always used to, because it's really where bands get a start and where bands in the underground, I don't know, flourish, I guess, is where it's at, you know?
Give them your social, something social.
Okay. I'd say our band's Instagram is over.thinkingband.
Over.thinkingband.
On Instagram, and I believe it's the same on Facebook. And then my specific one for both, I guess, personal posts as well as my music production is wonxhunnid.
Now I'm gonna go back, edit this, and what he said, I'm gonna put it underneath. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, see, we're past COVID, hopefully. We'll see. Snailpiss, we'll get back with you. Peace. Seasonal Tasmanian devil original. Urban oriented, still with farmers enlisted. Mainly Dolo, wild son of Han Solo. Infrared on his forehead, sliding, making sure he's dead. Shot in his forehead, so much for the gangster. Two to his cap, all cap for the gangster. Real tough, perhaps dirt and ass for the gangster. Down for the rap, not really no thinking. Shot in his head, so much for the gangster. Two to his cap, all caps for this gangster. Real tough, perhaps dirt and ass for the gangster. Down for the rap, not really no thank you. Down for the rap, not really no thank you. Down for the rap, not really no thank you. Not really no thank you.